Hello partners! In this video we're going to salute someone very, very special. Even though you likely never heard his name, for the first part of this report I'm going to refer to this week's honoree by his initials, GTS. Our old friend GT is one of the most quoted American writers from the years just before, during, and after the Civil War. He's been quoted in nearly every documentary that was ever been made on this era. His words are just about everywhere, but old GTS never planned it that way. What? Yep, that's the magic of this story, partners. Our honoree was born in New York on the morning of Wednesday, the 26th of January, way back in 1820. From his earliest days, everyone around the young lad knew there had to be something very special about him. He went to a really tough school in New York City, the Columbia Grammar and Prep School, in 1838. When he was only 18, this young GTS graduated from what is now Columbia University with extremely wonderful grades and very high honors. In less than a year, our honoree's dad, who was a prominent New York City trial attorney, invited his young son to join his law firm. Now that firm not only still exists, it is the oldest surviving law firm in the United States. Eventually, this young man became a very proficient lawyer and married a lovely woman named Ellen. The wedding took place at the historic Grace Cathedral in Manhattan, and something really rare happened at that wedding. You see, the bride sang. Yes, our honoree's wife, Ellen, was a concert-level singer. Although old GT did something that doesn't sound fair today, he bought his way out of the draft during the Civil War. But he and his wife Ellen did spend long hours each week working as volunteers in military hospitals. After the war, GTS was made a member of the Board of Columbia University. He was also a founding member of the New York Philharmonic Orchestra. Now his son became a well-known composer who worked mostly in Europe. But now to the heart of the matter. Old GTS did a lot of writing about daily life in the 1850s and 1860s. He also wrote a massive number of words about what his country was like during the Civil War. One of his writings deals with slave owners. In one account, he said, and I'm quoting now, partners, "It strikes me that slavery exists in the South with all its safeguards and necessary legislation, and is the greatest crime on the largest scale known in modern history. In some ways, it's a systematic murder thing." He didn't leave anything out, partners. Our honoree also wrote of the daily lives of average Americans during the Civil War. After the war was over, he penned thousands of words talking about the corrupt city government in New York City. Yeah, he spent paragraph after paragraph going into detail about the illegal workings of the city, calling for honor and justice to be done. For many reasons, those writings were all but forgotten until they were discovered by historians in the early 1900s. Listen to this. You see, GTS was not a historian. The millions of words he put down about the Civil War and about life in New York City were not published in books. They were his own private papers. Partners, every night our honoree sat down and wrote page after page after page in his diary. That's right, partners. Much of what we know about the American Civil War and about Manhattan in the late 1800s comes from the pages of a massive personal diary lovingly kept by a New York City attorney, old GTS, George Templeton Strong. Partners, even today, modern day historians don't look through books written during the era that this is about. They peruse the diary of George Templeton Strong. One of Strong's most quoted statements was his anger when the Union Army seemed to be just sitting and doing nothing under General George McClellan, a general whom Lincoln later fired. Strong wrote, and again I'm quoting, "I've seen an army smothering in mud, but never until now, I'm afraid, it's dying in the dust." Strong wrote a very personal account of life in America from the 1840s until the 1890s. They were honest writings, meant only to be read by himself. Yes, George Templeton Strong is remembered by modern day historians for being their window into another era in America. Not because Strong planned it that way, no, but because he was there at the right time and wrote it all down. Okay, partners, you know the drill. Look up at that big old X up there, the red one at the top. Click on it and you'll be whooshed right back here to this week's letter. This is so good. I love this, talking about George Templeton. Oh, yeah. All right, look here. I love you. Dennis, thank you so much. Keep up the good work. I love you. I really do. Go get 'em, Tigers!